on Sports Tonight. Saturday, October 22, the intensity of the opening shootout of the NBL Final Series. In Adelaide, the Giants take on the Super Sixers.
In front, Rough Habit coming through. Solvit the leader, Rough Habit grabbing him on the line. Solvit's one and a half.
New Zealand's all-the-way Cox Plate champion Solvit beats off a wall of brilliant finishes. Good evening, this is Bill Woods. Basketball dominates Sports Tonight, but first, the magnificent finish to the BMW Cox Plate, the greatest weight-for-age race in the land, turned out to be just that. New Zealand galloper Solvit winning narrowly over Rough Habit, Reading and the Flying Alcove. It was a triumph for Kiwi trainer Moira Murdoch and jockey David Walsh. Peter Donegan sums up the great race.
On 72 occasions previously, the very best in Australasia have done battle for the Cox Plate. Today, the 73rd running was no different. And while spring racing fever brought a huge crowd to the valley, out the back, a Kiwi horse called Solvit and his constant companion Roseanne the pony were oblivious to all the fuss, as too seemed to be trainer Moira Murdoch. But the nerves began to tingle as the race time approached, especially for the 14 lucky men who had the task of partnering a collection of horses, which between them had won almost $18 million. The punters made imported galloper Jeune the 3-1 favourite. Reading next best at 11-2, Solvit a drifter out to 10s, and Old Rough Habit the rank outsider. As usual, the nation's weight-for-age championship was to produce a dramatic racing moment.
1,000 metres left to go and still Solvit in front, bowling along 2.5 lengths and covered. Durbridge third, no surprises in the early stages. Dane Wynn's been off the track, he's 3 wide around the outside of Snap, and they were followed by It's All in Fun and then Soho Square on the outside of Reading. A couple of lengths to Trista Love. Jeune's covered a lot of ground on the outside. Alcove back about third last. They were followed by River Verdon, the Hong Kong galloper, well back from Tenor, and Rough Habit is last of all. They're about to make the run down the side at the 650 metre mark, and the Kiwi Solvit still 2 lengths in front, and Covered called upon for his effort. Durbridge is off the rail. Snap's getting right up along the fence and running on pretty well. Reading's trying to follow it through. They were followed by Dane Wynn. Jeune's not going well. It's under the whip and it's back at the tail of the field, and River Verdon starting to sweep around the outside. Rough Habit getting the rails run. 250 to go. Solvit's going to be the first into the straight. Durbridge the challenger. St Covered's run his race. Reading pulled to the outside, starting to accelerate. It's Solvit in front from Durbridge. Reading on the outside, and Old Rough Habit getting through in the middle. Solvit in front, Rough Habit coming through. Solvit the leader, Rough Habit grabbing him on the line. Solvit's one and a head to Rough Habit. Reading close up third. Alcove made up a lot of ground. They were followed by Dane Wynn. Then came St Covered. Further back was Durbridge, which weakened from Tenor. Then Tristalove, Soho Square, Jeune never fired. River Verdon faded on his run. Snap second last. It's All in Fun has run last.
He'd gone one better than last year, Solvit, denying the brave challenge from fellow Kiwi and ageing champ Rough Habit.
Last year we'd had a few little niggling colds and things. This year he just settled in beautifully when he got off the plane, and he's never looked back.
He was cruising, yeah, absolutely cruising down at the 1,000. And I rolled from the half. I got him under pressure. I'd say his half-mile sectional time would be pretty good. And, you know, they couldn't get him.
But Solvit's wasn't the only big win today. In the Moya Stakes, Sequalo Donkey licked a smart field, equalling the course record in the process.
Around the turn, Sequalo's going like a winner, though. He's kicked away 2 lengths in front of Keltreese and Alanon. Further back, Daring Ombre, but Sequalo's going to win and win brilliantly. Sequalo punched out, wins the Moya in a canter. 4 lengths to Alanon. Keltreese third in front of Simon Stab, which ran on. Then Royal...
Clearly, jockey Norman Weymouth is one of the 4-year-old's biggest fans.
I'm not going to say he's better than Rancher, but I've always said he's equal to Rancher, you know, so it's been a great achievement for the horse to come back after 9 months off.
The Moonee Valley Cup was run at a snail's pace in the early stages, but when David Hayes' Melbourne Cup Hope Top Rating decided to accelerate, nothing could touch him.
Around the turn, Top Rating quickly took the lead. To our Pompeii, the Phantom Chance plodding on, and then Gold Sovereign gone and Starstruck from a long way back, but Top Rating's well clear in the Moonee Valley Cup. Melbourne Cup next to Simon, Top Rating. The boy sitting up on the line, he wins by 2 lengths. Starstruck may have got up to run second, a pretty good trial too. Our Pompeii third.
A nice birthday present for Hayes, who's now looking forward to meeting the overseas raiders head on.
It was a magnificent effort. He raced out of character today because of the slow pace, but just shows he's adaptable. He's a very, very exciting horse.
Damien Oliver still has to choose between Paris Lane and Top Rating in the Melbourne Cup, but today's win may just have swayed him.
Very hard decision. He was very impressive today, top rating, and you know, he does look an ideal Melbourne Cup horse.
But as all the fuss died down, the day ended as it began. Two best mates together, sharing that feeling that only winners can enjoy.
Speaking of which, to the NBL Mitsubishi Challenge, and the North Melbourne Giants have won the first game of the final series in a dramatic overtime stoush against Adelaide. I hope you're able to see this game with us. Darryl McDonald fired up a difficult shot with just seconds to go to win the crucial opener, 95-93. The series now goes to Melbourne next Friday with the Giants favourites.
Adelaide produced a packed house for Game 1 of the Grand Final Series, but it wasn't all Super Sixers fans. Their first attempt at the title since 1986, Adelaide began without captain Mark Davis, who dislocated his right shoulder 2 weeks ago. But that didn't seem to worry the fans, who were feeling pretty confident of a clean sweep. But it was the North Melbourne Giants who were first to the basket.
For three and makes it! What a start for North Melbourne!
It wasn't long before Davis took to the court and the Sixers began to settle.
Johnson knocks in the two and scores a tied again at 11 apiece.
Both teams made it clear this would be no easy contest, and at the first change, scores were level at 20 apiece. The second quarter then belonged to the Giants.
Gets on the scoreboard.
Adelaide's sloppy play proving costly as North Melbourne began to take control.
Most of it now, Maley. Tough shot, makes it two. And all
Rose had bad luck.
Oh, gets his own ball back. Great work by Robert Rose. Still comes up with the ball. Third time. Still unlucky.
While the Giants were on a roll.
Runs into three. Adelaide Super Sixers.
At the main break, North Melbourne leading the Sixers by 17 points. Adelaide needed something in a hurry and they began the third perfectly. Mackay had his eye in from the outside and was quick to reduce the deficit back to 10. But the Giants weren't letting go as they still had the upper hand. North Melbourne up by 11 going into the final quarter. Adelaide had the job ahead and again were quick to the basket. The Giants then suffered a big blow as Mark Leader limped from the court. But that didn't seem to affect North Melbourne as they continued to stay on top. Rose then began to fire, doing everything possible to keep the Sixers in the game. And it seemed he couldn't do anything wrong. With 1 minute and 10 to go, the pressure was on, with only 5 points the difference. The Sixers, producing a remarkable recovery, then came within 2 points with less than a minute remaining. Then, when the Giants fouled, the scores became level and the game went into overtime. Paul Maley was then slapped with a tech foul, but was quick to make amends, shooting a controversial three-pointer. The game was again then down to the final seconds, McDonald scoring the winning points for the Giants right on the buzzer.
And the game is over. McDonald has won the game for North Melbourne on the buzzer in the first period of overtime.
I know it was tied up. All we could do is, if I miss, we're going to overtime. I just wanted to get into the hole and try and jump over him, and I got the shot off.
Were there thoughts there of a second overtime, possibly?
If I'd have missed here, it would have been a second overtime. We didn't want that. I thought we could have did a better job of just winning the game off the back. We let them get back in it. Rob Rose just started getting hot. And I mean, as a team, I think we just stayed. To get the win, we stayed together real well. And we won it at the buzzer.
Darryl McDonald there played a big hand in the game, but it was just a sensational match. Joining us live now from the Clipsal Powerhouse, where I guess he's had a dose or two of champagne by now, the man who I reckon's home and hosed for Coach of the Year. Brett Brown, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Bill. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Congratulations. I loved every second of that game, but I don't think love was the emotion you had in mind. How does it feel to have to win a game twice?
It was a very gut-wrenching type of evening. I heard some of Darryl's comments early, and I agree with him. I think we were in a position to win the game on a few occasions, but you have to credit the Adelaide defense. They did a great job, I think, of taking this thing to the limit. It's a win, and we'll probably leave it at that.
What were your comments at full time after being up by 17 at the half, 11 at three-quarter time, and then it was tied up?
I just thought it was a situation where X's and O's probably weren't going to play too much of a factor. I thought it was got down exclusively to character. Obviously, the detail and some of the things that we were looking at had to come into play, but I thought it was a very character-building win, and I'm very happy for the fellas. I think that they've earned the right to be where they are.
I don't like bringing this up because personally I don't think it really had a bearing on the outcome, but is there any controversy there over that Paul Maley 3, which was proven on a replay to really be a 2?
There could be. You know, I don't want to get into that because there were some, I feel, suspicious calls throughout the game. In any case, we don't want to get into that. The referees made the decision, and we're going to obviously take the result.
That's fair enough. Brett, rebounding, was that the key? Rees was sensational.
Paul Rees was excellent, Bill. I think if I were to choose the most valuable player, even with the brilliance of Daryl McDonald, I probably would look at Paul Rees.
And overall, what do you do now? You've got a tremendous platform. You've gone away and you've won after they were on a 12-game home winning streak, the Sixers. Now you've got 2 games at home. Do you have to keep a lid on the emotions?
I think so, and that's something that we've tried to do, Bill, throughout this series. You know, we don't want to get caught up in the emotion end of it. We're trying to just play on a nice even keel and make sure that we stay with what we've been doing. I don't want to play with the peaks and valleys, which I think the emotions play a part of. So we're going to try to continue just to minimize the anxieties. I want to play where we're in control of our emotions, and I think that if we do that, we make better decisions.
Well, Brett, congratulations again, and to both teams for a marvellous presentation of NBL basketball. Have a nice night and a safe trip home. We'll see you next time.
Good stuff, Bill. Thanks for your interest.
Brett Brown, coach of the victorious North Melbourne Giants, who, as I said earlier, have a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series now. Friday night, and of course, once again around Network 10, it will be live at 8:30. And after tonight, you really wouldn't want to miss it. OK, some news just in. Disappointing, though, for Women's World Triathlon champion Mikaele Jones. A foot injury has put her out of next week's Noosa Triathlon. A reminder, too, a big coverage by us on that event next week. Later, our musical tribute to the plays of Game 1 of the NBL Final Series.